After a period of peaceful coexistence, it was Lan Wangji who became restless. He initially thought that Wei Wuxian was merely talking and wouldn't be able to hold out for more than a few days, eventually reverting to his old ways. After all, Wei Wuxian wasn't the type to restrain himself when temptation was right in front of him. But to his surprise, not only did Wei Wuxian not pay any attention to him, but even when Lan Wangji intentionally placed himself in close proximity, Wei Wuxian remained indifferent, as if he were a monk in meditation, unmoved by desire. What puzzled Lan Wangji even more was that not only was Wei Wuxian adhering to the family rules, but he also seemed to have given up their twice-a-week routine. He pondered and thought that perhaps Wei Wuxian, despite saying it was fine, still felt hurt by the previous rejections, which led to him being distant. Therefore, Lan Wangji decided to take the initiative to make amends. Having never done anything like this in his life, he wondered how exactly he should make amends. Finally, he took advantage of the moment when Wei Wuxian was taking a bath and boldly walked in to scrub his back. Wei Wuxian didn't mind at all. He generously exposed his back, lightly leaning against the edge of the tub. Lan Wangji brushed away the wet hair draped over Wei Wuxian's shoulders. Water droplets slid down his smooth back, revealing a pair of beautiful butterfly bones. Lan Wangji gently scrubbed for a while, and Wei Wuxian's fair skin turned a suggestive pink under his touch, enhanced by the steam and the sound of flowing water. The tranquility seeped into Lan Wangji's heart. As he continued scrubbing, he found himself in the tub as well. Fortunately, the tub was spacious enough to comfortably accommodate both of them. As he entered the tub, a splash of water erupted. Wei Wuxian's pointed ears twitched slightly, and Lan Wangji pressed against him from behind, continuing to scrub him, though the atmosphere had distinctly changed. Comfortable? Lan Wangji's low, magnetic voice sounded at just the right moment. Meanwhile, he moved the scrubbing from the back to the front, gently pulling Wei Wuxian backward, enveloping him in an embrace. His arms extended from Wei Wuxian's underarms to his chest, still holding the washcloth in a seemingly proper manner. But the movements subtly transitioned from scrubbing to kneading. Wei Wuxian let out a sound that clearly indicated his comfort. Lan Wangji pursed his lips. For some reason, he began to breathe heavily. Now, there was no way for Wei Wuxian to escape. Lan Wangji thought calmly yet busily, trying to engage Wei Wuxian in conversation to continue breaking down his defenses. Unexpectedly, although Wei Wuxian was physically there with him, his mind seemed elsewhere. He started talking about homework and became increasingly animated about it. Lan Wangji's face showed displeasure, and his movements became somewhat more forceful. "Ah, that hurts, Lan Zhan." Lan Wangji's hand paused for a moment. Then an idea struck him. He pretended to drop the washcloth into the tub. With one hand, he fumbled around, almost feeling his way along Wei Wuxian's thigh and calf before finally retrieving the unlucky washcloth. No matter how strong his willpower, Wei Wuxian was still sensitive to touch. Coupled with Lan Wangji's guiding movements, it wasn't long before Wei Wuxian leaned back compliantly into Lan Wangji's embrace and quietly shut up. Lan Wangji took a deep breath, thinking the time was right, and his previously proper hands started to roam inappropriately. Taking advantage of the warmth on Wei Wuxian's slender neck, Lan Wangji's lips approached and touched it gently. Just then, a soft, snoring sound was heard. Lan Wangji glanced over and his brow furrowed instantly. This overly relaxed little rascal had actually fallen asleep in his arms. In the next moment, Wei Wuxian was rudely awakened by the aggressive scrubbing service. Lan Wangji's face was filled with irritation, and his movements were extremely vigorous, almost scraping a layer of skin off Wei Wuxian. However, Wei Wuxian didn't mind and cheerfully began to give instructions. To the left, a bit more to the left. Hey, no, to the right, a bit more to the right. Hey, that's it, right there. Don't keep scrubbing the same spot, Lan Zhan. Hurry up, switch it up. No, you're not using the right strength. How can that feel good? You need to scrub like this. Understand? Like this. The dignified second young master of the Lan family, Lan Wangji, was reduced to being ordered around like a bathhouse scrubber by Wei Wuxian. Finally, in a fit of anger and humiliation, he threw the ungrateful rascal straight out of the bathtub. The day after Wei Wuxian was thrown out of the bathtub, Lan Wangji was still feeling sulky and decided not to stay in his silence room. Whenever he had free time, he would go and find Lan Qiren. Although Wei Wuxian felt a bit lonely at first, he gradually got used to it. He spent his time reading books, meditating, and practicing his swordsmanship, leading a very fulfilling life. His progress in his studies was remarkable, and teachers praised him constantly, lining up to commend him, making him feel absolutely wonderful. In fact, he knew very well what Lan Wangji intended to do when he got into the bathtub last night. He understood that Lan Wangji, as a man who had suppressed his desires for so long, had natural urges. However, he didn't want to serve whenever called upon. He was waiting for Lan Wangji to genuinely desire and long for him. Until he could see that heartfelt yearning, he didn't want anything else. Yet, his feelings were deeply conflicted. How could he decipher Lan Wangji's true heart amidst the ambiguity and obscurities of his occasional advances and rejections, which were concealed within family rules, reprimands, and marital duties? When Lan Wangji returned from Lan Qiren's place, it was already quite late. Deep in the bed, Wei Wuxian was fast asleep. In the rabbit hutch, one rabbit was perched atop another, both asleep. After hurriedly finishing his bath, Lan Wangji couldn't resist moving closer to Wei Wuxian as soon as he got into bed. Moonlight streamed through the window, resembling a soft cloud, casting a gentle rosy hue on Wei Wuxian's face. Lan Wangji leaned in, taking a deep breath and inhaling the scent of Wei Wuxian's hair while turning slightly to embrace him, claiming him for himself in the moonlight. His fingers gently stroked the dark strands of hair by his temple before he lowered his head, brushing his lips lightly against Wei Wuxian's slightly parted mouth with a tender kiss. Wei Wuxian's eyelids fluttered open, his dark eyes seeming to emerge from a deep pool, gazing dreamily at the scene within his dream. "You're back." As he hummed out a soft, sleepy sound from his nose, he suddenly felt a chill as the blanket was lifted away. Lan Wangji pressed down heavily upon him, his lips and body dominantly enveloping Wei Wuxian. His ears were soon filled with the moist sound of sucking, as Lan Wangji's nimble tongue, like a dexterous serpent, effortlessly pried open Wei Wuxian's teeth and entered deeply. The scorching breath swept over every tiny hidden corner of Wei Wuxian, then teased his lazily lying tongue, stirring up a mix of saliva and breath. Lan Wangji toyed with his small tongue, flipping and scraping it back and forth. Wei Wuxian let out a muffled groan, turning his head to catch a breath, but Lan Wangji grabbed his chin, restraining him in place. He kissed Wei Wuxian intensely, making him whimper in protest, before finally releasing him with a sense of satisfaction. Wei Wuxian panted lightly, one hand reaching up to Lan Wangji's Adam's apple, gently scratching it back and forth. His eyelids lifted slightly, and his gaze focused on Lan Wangji's face. A trace of a smile curved at the corner of his lips, as if indifferent to the situation. He gazed at Lan Wangji pensively, his scrutinizing look as cool and distant as moonlight, trailing down to the corner of his eye. In contrast with Lan Wangji's somewhat anxious expression, Wei Wuxian's eyes resembled an undisturbed deep pool. The roles had reversed once again. Lan Wangji's chest heaved slightly, with an indescribable feeling rising within him. Momentarily ignited by frustration, he pinned Wei Wuxian's obstructive hand beside his head and pressed his whole body against him, ferociously kissing him once more. When they separated, Wei Wuxian was as calm as usual, even showing a hint of fatigue. A yawn lingered in his nasal cavity before fading away softly. Lan Wangji's brows twitched slightly in disbelief. Under normal circumstances, Wei Wuxian would have long been unable to endure such a kiss. He would be jubilant, wrapping his arms and legs around Lan Wangji, his knees pressing against Lan Wangji's certain place. He would say the most blush-inducing words, pleading for Lan Wangji to thoroughly bully him. "Good gege," he would say, hooking his arms around Lan Wangji's neck, fanning the flames by his ear. "If you kiss me, you have to be responsible. If you marry me, work properly. You aren't planning to leave me hanging until next year, are you? I'll teach you. Make sure I can't get out of bed afterward and can't even run away. I'll be yours for the whole night." His eyes would become slightly unfocused, the corners warm with a mist of desire, as if his entire body, his entire soul, couldn't wait to open up to Lan Wangji, luring him deeper. In that thrashing storm of passion, creating utter chaos, the wilder, the fiercer, the more reckless and unrestrained, the better. No need for mercy. Everything of his was entirely Lan Wangji's, forever and ever, belonging only to him. Afterward, Wei Wuxian would pitifully beg for mercy, saying, "Please, Ergege," in a soft, innocent tone with no hint of remorse. He would act as if Lan Wangji were just a cruel and wicked beast, born only to bully him. He seemed to forget who it was that initially sparked the flame, insisting on provoking a situation that led to himself being unable to leave the bed.